Kendrick Lamar, he's been doing his thing. He's been touring. Been on the Damn tour. He will be in Toronto in the next couple of weeks. He was in Toronto before late July, so hopefully I can catch that later show. But nonetheless, he was in the news because he was on the cover of Rolling Stones magazine, which is huge. Yeah. And he was doing an interview, and one of the topics had to revolve around ghostwriting and what have you. So the question that was presented to him, I'm reading it verbatim off the computer screen right now, is, and I quote, "Is it ever okay for a rapper to have a ghostwriter? You've obviously written verses for Dr. Dre yourself." And this is what Kendrick said in response, and I quote, "It depends on what arena you're putting yourself in. I called myself the best rapper. I cannot call myself the best rapper if I have a ghostwriter. If you're saying you're a different type of artist and you don't really care about the art form of being the best rapper, then so be it. Make great music, but the title, it won't be there." Now, when this was said and when this was put out into the public, a lot of people instantly said, Drake this, he's going at Drake. So, on that note, Elcee, do you feel like that was a shot at Drake?
I feel like that's just a general opinion. I feel like it could be a shot at Drake. I feel like also people that are like defensive, or if you can paint the picture that clearly, then you're aware of it as well.
Yeah, like if the shoe fits, basically.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I think that shoe fits on many different artists in the industry.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest point he's trying to make is like it depends on what your goal is at the end of the day. Like,
right.
Like I personally take pride in songwriting. Mm-hmm. I like to share my message. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to be like
filtered, I guess.
Yeah, or like recreated by somebody else, or basically just saying what they think makes sense that I should say. Right. So I understand his view on it, and I don't think you can be the best rapper alive if you're not writing it. Right. You can be the best image artist
or a performer,
the best
maybe
brand. Yeah, like you know, like I think that there are different like positions that you could fill.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to Drake, I mean, we don't know how many songs like he's had people write for him, but me listening to Drake ever since like 2009, I would say, I can tell when Drake has written a record all on his own versus ones that may have been written or co-written at the very least. Like if it's a sing-songy record, like something for the club or the radio, he probably had a co-writer on that, which is totally fine. I have no problem with that. But if it's a record like Pound Cake, that's Drake right there. Yeah. He's going in for life. Like his flow is a little schizophrenic at times. Like you can tell when he's going past the margin, whereas when he's doing a song for a radio or the club, it's within the margin. Yeah. Like there's much more. It's much more melodic. There's more cadence to it. It's much more concise, calculated. But a record like 6 p.m. in New York, he's raw, uncut. So
I agree.
Yeah, like I think in those situations, I don't think it's wrong to have a songwriter in that regard because you have to look at it like this. It's a music industry. Rap is a part of the music industry. Yeah. You're gonna have people writing for you or co-writing for you. Dr. Dre has had so many people co-write for him. Snoop Dogg has been in that position. Yeah. Jay has been in that position as well. People want to deny it, but Jay has had some co-writers as well. You look at the liner notes of his album, it'll say co-written by so-and-so. There's been some Canadian artists who have co-written for Jay-Z. Yeah. So a lot of people I feel like a lot of people like to pick at Drake because he's the whipping boy now. Like he's the guy who's on top and what have you. Exactly. And I feel like he gets an unfair rap for that. Again, no pun intended.
Yeah. And I think also like the rap game is the only industry that is like highly concerned with that. Yes. And I think that is a part of the pride of being like a rapper if you're looking to be like the top lyricist.
I agree.
Whatever.
Now see, you pause it right there. You said lyricist, okay? Yeah. Now, if the conversation is about the best lyricist and Drake has had so many people co-write for him, then you can remove him from the equation. Yeah. But I feel like the best rapper, I feel like that encompasses everything. So the lyrical aspect of it, the performance aspect of it. I think.
Well, I was gonna say like somebody like
Eric Bellinger. Let's use that as an example. Sure. He's an amazing songwriter for a lot of people. Yeah. I'll use, because I like his music too. Yeah. French Montana, I'm not really a fan of his music. Right. But I know he used to write a lot for like Diddy and stuff like that. Right. It's like, as a writer, he's really good, but as a performer, he's not as good. Right. So then I feel like that's where the double-edged sword comes into like the best rapper. Yeah. It's like, he still can't really fill that role because he's just a really good writer. Yeah. And then Drake is like, in the mix of doing both. Yeah. And there's like a balance of like, we have to figure out if we're going to do the best rapper thing, what's all him and what's not him. Exactly. And those kind of things. But definitely like when you do it by yourself, you do possibly limit yourself because your brain only goes where you're used to bringing it or where you're used to trying to expand it. Whereas somebody that has totally different life experience could teach you something totally different in the music world or in whatever world, like in general. So input is important as well.
Right.
And that's like the weird balance of like having a songwriter and having feedback and having like, because somebody could say that they were a songwriter for Drake because they were brainstorming with him.
Yeah.
And then he ended up just like using a part of their idea of like the flow and then writing in his words.
Right.
So it's weird, right?
Right.
Like,
and I think people really need to divide the definition between ghostwriter and songwriter. Because a songwriter, his name or her name will be in the liner notes of an album.
Exactly.
They will be credited for that song, and then depending on what their contract situation was, whatever agreement they signed, they'll either get like a large lump sum or they'll get royalties basically. Yep. Whereas a ghostwriter, we don't know who that is.
Yeah,
they get paid under the table. Like... It was a freelance job. Yeah. You write this for me. You send me the stems or what have you. I'll recreate it in my own way, and that's it.
Yeah. So, and I think that was like the biggest thing. Like again, Meek Mill's another person that doesn't know how to approach shit. Yeah. But that was like his biggest thing. Was like, I don't really care who writes on your project, but when we released a project, we were talking about who's all a part of the song. Yeah. You didn't mention him. So that kind of changes it. It's like, what else aren't you mentioning? Exactly. Who else like is hiding for you? Right. So
yeah. At the end of the day, like I think when I read this article, going back to it, or not the article, but that page of the article rather, I feel like Kendrick was being sincere about his answer. I don't think he was trying to take a jab at Drake. Yeah. He normally saves his jabs for his records actually, so his records do the talking for the most part. And I do agree with him. Like if you want to be the best rapper, then it's gotta be all you, because when it comes to rap, our thing was, you know, our lyrics and like how we write and what have you. That's what defines our genre. Exactly. When it comes to R&B, it comes to your vocal range and your pitch.
That's your gift.
When it comes to, let's say, country music, depends on how your emotion comes through on your instruments, basically. So every genre has their niche, basically. Yeah. So I feel like that's why it's still frowned upon as far as like songwriting and
especially for the rap game. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But I feel like depending on what kind of record it is, I feel like if it's a record like turn up, whatever. You can have as many songwriters on as you want. I personally don't care. But like if you're talking about a record like let's say Ether or something like that, or something where you're going all in, it's just that raw passion and emotion and the lyrics and double entendres or what have you, it's gotta be all you. Yeah. That's my personal
take. You know what? Just to bring it back one more time, like
I remember when Drake and Meek Mill were like at the height of the beef thing, and then Drake released Back to Back, and people were like, "Oh, Drake killed him." It's like, but fam, if we're talking about the ghostwriting thing, like, like we don't know if Drake did.
Yeah, I think that was all Drake. I personally think that was all Drake.
I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So I feel like that's where it gets sticky. It's like, it's like rap is wrestling.
Rap is the WWE.
Thank you. I've been saying this for years. Yeah, I've been saying this for years. Oh my god.
It's like Tory and Drake are homies now. Yeah. It's like, did they even really have like a
They formed the alliance. Like NWO. But you see whoever flipping, someone takes off their mask and it's like Vince McMahon. It was me all along, Austin. It was me all along. Oh man, it's crazy. But yeah, man, it's just fickle at the end of the day, man. Yeah. I mean, like we didn't see this coming out of anywhere, man. No. Like it's whatever, but it gets us talking. That's what really happens.
Well, that's the biggest thing about media, right? Is like
all of it is utilized for us to have conversation. Yeah. I was talking to somebody the other day. We were talking about like the missile being launched. Yeah. And I was saying like I really just try to avoid news because I have so many other things that I actually do care about. Right. That I don't want to have deep conversations about this stuff that we don't have control of, that we're just gonna witness. I don't even want to have a conversation about that kind of stuff because there's so many other things that I'm trying to do in my life that I know is going to take time. So it's like, that's good for somebody when you don't have much to talk about. Yeah, like, exactly. That's what I feel like media is for. Yeah, it's the slow news days. Like, yeah, so did you see on the news, like... Yeah. Like, that's all that is.
Earlier today, I was watching, like, this report about, like, about LeBron James or whatever. And I think it was something about... Or no, it was about Kyrie Irving. It's like, Kyrie Irving won't be a member of the Cavaliers past December because he's not following LeBron James on Instagram. I'm like, guys, really? Yeah. Really? Yeah. Really?
And the person
that put the video up that actually searched it themselves, I was like, what are you doing with your spare time?
Exactly.
Like, did that make you like famous? Like, I don't know like what the goal was of that. Like, I just know that you were trying to find out if he was following him.
Like, you were stretching. You were stretching, basically.
And you're like, oh, no, he's not following him. This is crazy.
Yeah.
That's not news to me.
It's not
I don't
news.
know what that is. I don't
that's garbage. Whatever. It's spam.
Does Kyrie even manage his account by himself? Like
we don't even know this.
Exactly.
But nonetheless, ladies and gents, what do y'all think? Hit us up on Twitter at DM_cool or cool_radio. And let me know your thoughts as to whether or not you think Kendrick was trolling Drake in that interview or not.